The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, was one of the most beloved and legendary musicians to have ever lived. The legacy he left continues on even after 4 decades since he passed. His sudden death at the age of 42 left the world shocked and wondering why the star had passed. Speculations and theories have grown over the years as the Presley family kept the real reason under wraps. But Elvis's fiance at the time of his death, Ginger Alden, has finally shed some light. If you want to know more about how Elvis Presley's fiancée Ginger Alden recalled his final moments as she discovered his body and more about the king's death, then keep on watching. Presley's final moments were revealed by his then fiancée, Ginger Alden, who found him on the toilet at his home in Graceland. Elvis Presley, the famous American singer, musician, and actor, died on August 16, 1977, at the age of 42. He was found unresponsive on the bathroom floor at his home, Graceland, in Memphis, Tennessee. The cause of his death was determined to be a heart attack, but there has been ongoing speculation and controversy surrounding the circumstances of his death. There have been some rumors and conspiracy theories suggesting that the Presley family may have hidden the true results of Elvis Presley's autopsy. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this claim, and it is largely considered to be a baseless speculation. The initial autopsy report for Elvis was released by the Shelby County Medical Examiner's Office shortly after his death. The report stated that the cause of death was a heart attack, which was attributed to an enlarged heart, combined with prescription drug abuse. While there were some rumors that the family may have tried to suppress or alter the autopsy results, there is no evidence to support these claims. In fact, some members of the Presley family have publicly acknowledged Elvis's struggles with prescription drug abuse and have worked to raise awareness about the dangers of addiction. Many were distraught by Elvis' passing, most especially his family. Due to discrepancies in the first autopsy done on Elvis, his family actually ordered a second one to be done. This autopsy report was sealed by Elvis's father Vernon until 2027 and is set to be released on the 50th anniversary of his death. In 4 years' time, the mystery and questions fans have regarding the king's death will finally be answered. Elvis tragically spent his 40s in poor health after years of drug abuse. Before he had passed, Presley actually weighed about 25 stone and reportedly spent months overindulging on burgers in his room. Presley needed a full-time nurse to take care of him and apparently refused to bathe for long periods of time, causing him to develop sores on his body. In addition to his poor health from drug abuse, he also had a horrible diet, from which he suffered chronic constipation. It was reported that post-mortem, Elvis had compacted stool that was 4 months old sitting in his bowel due to his condition. Presley was also taking a wide variety of drugs, having been prescribed almost 9,000 pills, vials, and injections in total 7 months before he died. Because Elvis's father, Vernon, had sealed his second autopsy report for 50 years, many began speculating and making theories about what had really happened to the king of rock and roll. The preliminary findings of the initial autopsy concluded that Elvis had died of a heart attack, but the doctor that conducted it could not confirm the reason behind it. Many assumed and speculated that it was due to a drug overdose, but the doctors that performed the autopsy quickly shut down the rumors and shared that Presley was only taking medication as prescribed by his doctor. Nonetheless, a toxicology report indicated that there were significant levels of barbiturates, sedatives, depressants, and more in Elvis's system, prompting accusations that his doctor had lied about the cause of death. These rumors persisted until 1994, when the Tennessee Health Department confirmed the autopsy findings. But by then, it was too late. The theory about falsified autopsies and cover-ups were already popularized. Dan Warlick, the chief investigator for the Tennessee office of the state chief medical examiner, propelled the popular theory that Elvis died while straining to go to the toilet. Warlick shared that Elvis's chronic constipation, which was a result of years of prescription drug abuse and high-fat, high-cholesterol gorging. brought on what's known as Valsalva's maneuver. Put simply, the strain of attempting to defecate compressed Elvis's abdominal aorta, which ultimately shut down his heart. But since many claimed that he had died from a drug overdose, it was challenging to put forth the real reason for his death. When the investigation into Presley's death was reopened in 1994, coroner Joseph Davis disagreed with the overdose theories. Davis explained that the position of Elvis' body was such that he was about to sit down on the toilet when the seizure occurred. He fell forward onto the carpet, his rear in the air, and was dead by the time he hit the floor. The coroner further elaborated that if it had been a drug overdose, Presley would have slipped into an increasing state of slumber instead. He would have pulled up his pajama bottoms and crawled to the door to seek help. It takes hours to die from drugs, Davis added. The official autopsy results are still years away, but till then, the biggest insight into Elvis' death has come from prominent Californian physician, Forrest Tennant, who actually reviewed the report while defending Elvis' doctor, Dr. Nick, who was later acquitted of over-prescribing drugs. For Dr. Tennant, the major clue was in the full-body deterioration of Elvis, with almost every organ in poor condition. Elvis was known to have been fit when he was younger, having been played sports like football and practicing martial arts. However, he started abusing drugs when his rise to fame started. But for Dr. Tennant, his drug problem was not enough to explain the long list of conditions that Elvis had suffered from starting from the late 1960s onwards. Elvis suffered from numerous conditions and was always in ill health. He had complained of vertigo, back pain, headaches, insomnia, and more. In 1973, he was even rushed to the hospital in a semi-comatose condition and was found to be suffering from jaundice, severe respiratory distress, marked swelling of his face, distended abdomen, constipation, and more. Presley was hospitalized again in 1975 with hypertension and high cholesterol. He was also diagnosed to have a condition called megacolon, whereby the large intestine becomes swollen and can allow toxins to flood the body. He also had at least 4 near-death overdoses that left him unconscious and in need of resuscitation, and his heart was double the normal size. So what exactly had caused all of these diseases in his various organs? Dr. Tennant believes that it all stretches back to a serious head injury he sustained in 1967 that triggered a progressive autoimmune inflammatory disorder. In a medical paper he released in 2013, Dr. Tennant shared that when Elvis tripped over a TV cord and knocked himself out on the bathtub, the injury was so severe that it caused brain tissue to dislodge and seep into his blood circulation. This accident triggered a condition called hypogammaglobulinemia, a disorder of the body's immune system. At the time, only little was understood about these kinds of conditions, but these days they are known to cause most of the symptoms Elvis displayed. Later in 2016, Gary Rogers, a retired homicide detective and forensic coroner, shared in a newspaper that with those findings in mind, he would have attributed Elvis's death to a heart attack caused by heart disease and drug use caused by an autoimmune disease which was sparked by a brain injury. I'd have to classify Elvis's death as an accident. There's no one to blame, certainly not Elvis. He was a severely injured and ill man. There's no specific negligence on anyone's part, and definitely no cover-up or conspiracy of a criminal act, Rogers shared. It was Ginger Alden, Presley's fiance at the time, who found his body with his pajama bottoms around his ankles and his bottom in the air. Years after Elvis's death, Ginger was able to recall his final moments. In a memoir Ginger later wrote, she shared, "His arms lay on the ground, close to his sides, palms facing upward. It was clear that, from the moment he landed on the floor, Elvis hadn't moved." Ginger, who was 21 at the time, continued, "I gently turned his face toward me. A hint of air expelled from his nose. The tip of his tongue was clenched between his teeth, and his face was blotchy. I gently raised one eyelid. His eye was staring straight ahead and blood red." Despite the numerous misconceptions, His family and many experts have maintained that Elvis had died due to a heart attack that was the ultimate accumulation of his very poor health. The king was laid to rest at his home Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. Do you think that the autopsy to be revealed in 2027 will finally shed some light to the king's death? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.